So what's going on, guys? Barry back here, another quick anime update. So in today's video, we'll be talking about the Oscars, if you could already tell from the thumbnail. But yeah, we'll be talking about the Oscars, and basically we're talking about there being no anime films in the 93rd Oscars nominated for animated features. So if this is the kind of content you're looking for, you're in the right place. My name is Barry, and this channel is all about anime and what goes behind them. I make videos all about what's currently going on in the anime industry, so before we begin, make sure to hit the subscribe button and then leave me a comment below saying I subscribed. And I'll try my best to respond to as many people as I can under this video. Now back to the video. Now, I think you might have heard this before. I already made a video about this last year, about really the exact same thing. I think it was the 92nd by that time, because I said last year. But yeah, so I've already talked about anime films being snubbed year in, year out, how Boss Baby somehow beat out, I don't know, like they beat out 32 animated films, And this year we'll be talking about, did anime films get snubbed again? What films were nominated for the Oscars this year? Basically everything. So basically, no anime films have received nominations for the animated feature film category in the Oscars.
The nominees are
Onward, Over the Moon, A Shaun the Sheep movie, Soul, and Wolf Walkers. Now we'll be talking about all 5 of these and basically my opinion about it in general. I think this year is a little bit better than last year in terms of like how much did anime get snubbed by, because last year was crazy. It was a record-setting snub last year, but this year it's not as bad. It's still bad, but it's not as bad. So Onward, Over the Moon, Shaun Sheep, Soul, Wolf Walkers. So Onward is by Disney. I'm pretty sure close to no one has seen this film. It got decent advertisement, decent rating. So it has an 88% for Tomato Meter. I'm using Rotten Tomato, by the way, for my basis for the ratings, because I did not watch these films. I'm only gonna give a slight opinion off of that, and then go from there. So, like I said, his audience score of a 95%, pretty solid. To win it, it's in the range for winning the Oscar with this type of scoring in general. Next, we'll go to Over the Moon. Over the Moon has a 81% Tomato Meter, has a 72% for the audience scoring. This one fits more into the Asian culture type of movie, which they try to have some type of policy for adding in more inclusion when it comes to Oscar voting and nominations, and basically for more Asian cultural films to win an Oscar and to be put in better positions to be nominated for Oscars. So they put in this movie. This one's on Netflix. It has a Netflix partnering to get an Oscar, but honestly, I don't think it has the better or good enough score to win it. Could it win this year? Maybe, I guess. I didn't watch it, like I said, I'm going off of strictly scoring and analytics and stuff like that, strictly, for the most part. But yeah, going off of past winners, it has a chance, but not a great chance to win it. Shaun the Sheep, this is a kid's movie. Back when I was a kid, I've had a couple of Shaun the Sheep movies. I actually think I have 2 or 3 of them that actually won it. Whichever one year they won it, I have that film that won it. Shaun the Sheep in general, it's pretty good stop animation. It's pretty solid. This movie is really the exact same of all the other ones. It's pretty good. It's a 96% for Tomato Meter, 80% for audience scoring. It's a kids movie. It's good. Soul has been pushed out a lot. A lot. It was on all types of different platforms so people could watch it at their leisure. At some point, Soul has a 95% for Tomato Meter, 88% for audience scoring. I know Disney would rather have Soul win it over Onward, but either one of them, they don't care which one wins it. They would rather probably Soul wins it, but they don't care that much, Soul's pretty solid. It's okay for sure. I did watch it all the way through. It's solid. Then we'll talk about Wolf Walkers. This one is kind of more fitted to win the Oscar in general. The Oscars would probably rather give it to Wolf Walkers over almost everything up here in general. They love having that obscure title that no one's heard about and have it win an Oscar. That's kind of what they would really love to do here. It's the type of the wave they want to go into. They changed the category a little bit so a Wolf Walkers could win it and be nominated. So it has the highest rating up here of a 99% for tomato meter and 100% for audience scoring. That means everyone who watched it loves it in general. They think it's the best movie ever made up here. So Wolfwalkers has the best chance of winning the Oscar. That's just kind of it. There's not that much to say. Wolfwalkers has the best chance of winning. Onward has the second analytical best chance of winning it. I think Shaun the Sheep, this one version, is about as good as any other ones, maybe a little better, so they could win it as well. Like I said, Disney would probably rather Soul win it over Onward, but they don't care. Over the Moon has the worst chance of winning in this category this year. But those are all the, typical Oscar choices for animated features. I own about, I think, 4 of the actual winners of the animated feature category, and I'll just tell you right now, I can't remember half of their plots in general. I have the Shrek one, the Shaun the Sheep one, I have the Happy Feet one, I think I had the Ratatouille one. I think I have even more than 4. I really like the animated feature category in general. I think I have a lot of them. I definitely now know I have more than 4. So yeah, but here, let's talk about the animes, because they got snubbed again this year. No surprise. So we have Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba. I made the video on my YouTube channel. Go check that out later if you want to. Basically saying how much money this anime has made, how popular it is worldwide. Anime, they just done it again. They made another worldwide freaking classic. And Mugen Train, people that watch it just love it. Even if they don't, they want to critique it, they still love it, right? But the problem is with this is that even though it's made a whole bunch of money in Japan and it's worldwide, it hasn't really reached American theaters yet. And that's kind of a big problem for when it comes to the Oscars. They want your product to be able to be given to the American people, and it's not going to hit here until April 25th. So that's kind of a problem. It's not like technically like a big, oh, you won't win the Oscars, but it really is like you won't win the Oscars because of this. I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to anime films and winning the Oscars, you have to have everything on point to win it. You have to have a high tomato meter, you have to have a high audience scoring, you have to be here on time, plus some time. You have to make some money, of course. You have to have everything to win it for an anime film. So off of notoriety and like how it looks, it would have won it, right? But it doesn't really fit into what the Oscars want to look for too much, and it's kind of late in terms of getting to the American people, so they're not gonna count this one. It wouldn't be nominated and it wouldn't win, to be honest. Erwig the Witch by Studio Ghibli. It's a Studio Ghibli film. They always have a chance because of Studio Ghibli, but the thing is, Erwig has probably the lowest rating of a Studio Ghibli film up here to be trying to be nominated, So Erwig has a 33% for the tomato metering and a 68% for audience scoring. It's a very low scoring. I've seen this like all over for like the past year, but no, this is not gonna win. This is not gonna get nominated or win. It's a way too low of a score to win it. Like Spirit Away had to have a like average of 90%. So yeah, no, you're not winning it. You're not getting nominated. Lupin the First. Lupin the First is pretty good. 95% audience tomato metering, and it has 80% audience scoring. Pretty solid. Pretty solid. I would think it would be a typical maybe slip in for the Oscars to maybe like be okay with this anime film, but it's not perfectly, it doesn't have the perfect look for it, I would say, I'll be honest. Solid. I think it could be out Over the Moon in place, be the first one from the anime films I think could actually take a spot away from one of the nominations, but it's still, like I said, if you're going to be in this category, you got to have a really good chance of winning, and I don't think it does. It has a better chance of just being nominated, Next, we'll be talking about Ride Your Wave. Now, Ride Your Wave is from the people that also made Weathering with You, so it's a banger. This movie is great. This movie is one of the movies that probably should have won, So Ride Your Wave has 93% for tomato metering and has a 90% for audience rating. Like I said, this one's built to win the Oscars if it gets nominated, but it didn't get nominated for whatever reason. Again, they already got freaking the snub of last year, right? The biggest snub, and now this. So, it is what it is, I guess. It is what it is. They could have beat any animated feature up here. They could beat any one of them, but they didn't get a shot. Talk about also our sound. So On Gaku, our sound is another like obscure pick. Like if say this was fair, right? Because like you know, this isn't fair. Say if it was fair, it would be basically the Wolf Walker to be up here because it has a 100% rating for tomato metering for critics, right? But people haven't watched it. It has no audience scoring. No one has really watched it or been able to watch it. So an obscure pick that's really freaking great that would kind of clean up the category if it had gotten a fair shot. So it's a second one that could have won it if it was up here. Next we talking about A Whisker Away. A Whisker Away has a really good chance. It kind of fits more than any other anime up here to be what the Oscars would want to pick from. You know, it has that look to it. So it even has a couple like good collaborations going for it. So it is the Netflix collaboration, which I'll talk about probably a little bit later, is a really good way of trying to win the Oscars. The new way of trying to win the Oscars, I think, for animes. That's probably the best way to go about it. They're like, oh, Netflix, we know about Netflix. We go check out A Whisker Away. The problem is it doesn't have the best audience scoring. So it has a really good like tomato metering scoring for critics, but for the audience scoring themselves, it has a pretty low one. It didn't get talked about as much as I thought it would because I saw this about maybe, I saw this a while ago, honestly, beginning of like last year, but I thought it would have a good chance of winning actually. But now looking at it, I guess not. It's not really that close. It has to have, like I said, a high audience scoring to win it for an anime. So from here, the animes of this year, two of them, if they would have gotten the category, would have won it. Mugen Train 3 would be a good chance or good nomination for these animes to be, or animated features to be up here, but it wasn't going to win. So if you're looking to go check out when the 93rd Annual Academy Awards will be, held, it's going to be held on April 25th. It was delayed 2 months because of COVID, obvious reasons. So back in 2020, I did mention this a little briefly at the beginning of the video, that there were a record-setting of 32 films submitted to the nominations, for animes. Some animes that would, featured up here would be Triggers Promare, which has a great high scoring, has a great chance of winning, Another one of those, Oko's End, another one, good one to kind of win it. Children of the Sea, I heard a lot about that one. Has a good chance of being up there and won it. And then the big one, Weathering with You, would have been the actual winner of the animated features if it ever got nominated. But, sadly, Boss Baby beat it out, Man, that dang Boss Baby, man. Beating out all these great animes. Who would have saw it coming? So there were no anime films from 2020 to receive nominations. And if you're wondering what animes got nominated ever, well, there's only been 5 animated feature films to ever been nominated. 5 being when Marnie was there, 4 being The Tale of the Prince of Kaguya, 3 being The Wind Rises, 2 being Howl's Moving Castle, and 1 being Spirited Away, being the only animated film to ever win. Yeah. And like I said, in 2019, they integrated some type of way to add more inclusion in terms of like the voting and the nominations for the Oscars, because they were getting a lot of backlash that year about, oh, you didn't have this and you didn't have that and you didn't have this, they're racist, and like, no, we're not. And then these old people just say, well, we'll add some rules for these people, and then we'll never actually like implement it to where they actually get a chance of winning. Or I would say, like I said, this year is a good is a better representation of animated feature films in America. But like in general, it still is a snub. Like it still is a snub in a way, Like Whisker Away was okay. It was pretty much about as good as Over the Moon, if you want to call it like that. But it kind of is. Ride Your Wave was the best one up here in general. Well, actually, that one's up for debate still. I might have to rethink that one for Ride Your Wave. That one kind of, you gotta think about it. Our Sound, you gotta think about. Mugen Train, you gotta think about. There's at least 3 anime films up here you have to really think about. Even though I think Wolf Walkers has the best chance of winning. But yeah, I'd say there's another year for animes being slightly snubbed. It's not as big as a year as last year, but it's still like a pretty big snubbing. I could pick almost any one of them up here to be, taking their spot, just about. I don't think Soul would have got knocked out, but Shaun the Sheep, Over the Moon, and Onward, yeah, I think Ride Your Wave would have taken their spot. Wolf Walkers probably not, but still. in general, I would say my advice for anime films being nominated, God, I don't even. The only thing I could really say is that might help is them being on HBO Max and them being on Netflix and them trying to get as much like notoriety in America as they possibly can. Even though I don't think that's necessarily the problem, really. You know, it's like it's really just the people voting for these. You know, like I said, there's only been 5 nominations of animes ever, ever, and I'm not gonna go back that far to look for all the snubs, you know. But I would say I've been here on this earth for like 20 some years, and they've been snubbed for 20 some years. Like I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I think I'll make another anime video about all the animes that probably should have won it, and then kind of rank them in my opinion. But that's for a later date. Thanks for watching.